New Black Wall Street Book Club. Evan Jefferson, brother, much love. Educating, elevating, because in knowledge is the power and we'll never give it up. Literature that's for the masses. Where to put your money down, now how to watch your assets. Yeah, uplifting others is a passion. My brother Evan, he will turn it into action. New Black Wall Street Book Club. You should come read with us. Yeah, we comprehend and discuss. If we all just come together, there's no limit for us. Here comes your host, New Black Wall Street. Evan, take it away. New Black Wall Street. New Black Wall Street Book Club.
All right, Grand Rising to you beautiful people. Thanks so much for joining us here today on the New Black Wall Street Book Club, where Black folk do read. You put it in the book, and we absolutely will find it. I'm your host, ERGJ, your certified global financial educator, CEO of ERGJ Enterprises, and international best-selling author of the book, The Black Billionaires Club. Book that I wrote, guys, The Study of Black Wealth. It's a study of the 12 richest Black people in the world today and how they built their wealth. And I just truly believe that if you want to be wealthy, that's a big if, by the way, then you should study wealthy people. Well, you can find that book by simply going to the website, theblackbillionairesclub.com, theblackbillionairesclub.com. Pick up your copy today. Well, today, guys, we are going to continue our journey into a book called Atomic Habits by James Clear. Let me put that in the comments below for you guys here on Instagram. 1 second. Atomic Habits by James Clear. And we are almost done with this book, guys. Almost done. Today, we're going to be talking about behavior, the cardinal rule for behavioral change. Today's episode has been brought to you by the Black Bazaar, the Afrocentric marketplace, which specializes in Afrocentric home decor, personal care products, and Black art inspired gifts. You can support what we're doing here by simply shopping Black at the Black Bazaar. Simply go to the website, theblackbazaar.com. That's right, www.theblackbazaar.com. Shop Black, buy Black, all that good stuff with it there. All right, so today we're going to continue our journey here. We are actually into the fourth law for behavior change. Now, for those that are joining us here live, man, how many guys actually want to improve? You want to get better. You realize there's some things about yourself. You're saying, you know what? I got to do better, and you actually want to do better. Well, you actually, here's the beautiful thing. You can change, right? You can change. And this book has actually been wonderful in helping me to rethink how I think as it relates to how I do things. So today we're moving into the fourth law of behavior change, which is make it satisfying. Make it satisfying. Everybody put in the comments, so satisfied. Make it satisfying. And this book is an easy and proven way to build good habits and to break bad ones, right? So I don't know about you, but I want to work on or improve upon or live off of my good habits that bring me closer to the things that I want, that help me to improve my life. And I want to eliminate as much as possible, right? The bad habits, the stuff that I picked up along the way that I just do without thinking for some reason. I know it doesn't bring any tangible value into my life. I want to reduce or eliminate those things. That's what I want to do. I don't know what you want to do, but that's what I'm working on. I'm working on being my best self so I can live my best life. So the fourth law, make it satisfying, chapter 15, the cardinal rule of behavior change, the New Black Wall Street Book Club. Let's read. In the late 1990s, a public health worker named Stephen Luby left his hometown of Omaha, Nebraska, and bought a one-way ticket to Karachi, Pakistan. Karachi was one of the most populous cities in the world. By 1998, over 9 million people called it home. It was the economic center of Pakistan and a transportation hub with some of the most active airports and seaports in the region. In the commercial parts of town, you could find all of the standard urban amenities and bustling downtown streets, but Karachi was one of the least livable cities in the world. Over 60% of Karachi's residents lived in squatter settlements and slums. These densely packed neighborhoods were filled with makeshift houses cobbled together from old boards, cinder blocks, and other discarded materials. There was no waste removal system, no electricity grid, no clean water supply. When dry, the streets were a combination of dust and trash. When wet, they became a muddy pit of sewage. Mosquito colonies thrived in pools of stagnant water, and children played among the garbage. The unsanitary conditions led to a widespread illness and disease. Contaminated water sources caused epidemics of diarrhea, vomiting, and abdominal pain. Nearly 1/3 of the children living there were malnourished. With so many people crammed into such a small space, viruses and bacterial infections spread rapidly. It was this public health crisis that had brought Stephen Luby to Pakistan. Good morning to you. Thanks so much for joining. Luby and his team realized that in an environment with poor sanitation, the simple habit of washing your hands could make a real difference in the health of the residents. But they soon discovered that many people were already aware that hand washing was important. And yet, despite this knowledge, many residents were washing their hands in a haphazard fashion. Some people would just run their hands under the water quickly. Others would only wash one hand. Many would simply forget to wash their hands before preparing food. Everyone said hand washing was important, but few people made a habit out of it. The problem wasn't knowledge. The problem was consistency. Everybody put in comments, so consistent. The problem wasn't knowledge. And I don't know about you, but my problem isn't what I know when it comes to my good habits and my bad habits. My problem is consistency. How many guys start to work on this good habit in your life, but you're not consistent with it? You started one day, you end it 3 days later, and you don't get back to it. You forget all about it. You fall right back into that same bad habit. The problem isn't what you know. The problem is the knowledge. The problem was consistency. Then that was when Luby and his team partnered with Procter & Gamble to supply the neighborhood with Safeguard soap. Compared to your standard bar soap, using Safeguard was a more enjoyable experience. In Pakistan, Safeguard was a premium soap, Luby told me. The study participants commonly mentioned how much they liked it. The soap foamed easily, and people were able to lather their hands with suds that smelled great. Instantly, hand washing became slightly more pleasurable. I see the goal of hand washing promotion not as behavior change, but as a habit adoption, Luby said. It is a lot easier for people to adopt a product that provides a strong positive sensory signal, for example, the mint taste of toothpaste, than it is to adopt a habit that does not provide pleasurable sensory feedback, like flossing one's teeth. The marketing team at Procter & Gamble talked about trying to create a positive hand-washing experience. Within months, the researchers saw a rapid shift in the health of children in the neighborhood. The rate of diarrhea fell by 52%, pneumonia by 48%, the impetigo, a bacterial skin infection, by 35%. The long-term effects were even better. We went back to some of the thousands in Karachi 6 years later, Luby told me. Over 95% of the households who had been given the soap for free and encouraged to wash their hands had a hand washing station with soap and water available when our study team visited. We had not given any soap to the intervention group for over 5 years, but during the trial, they had become so habituated to washing their hands, they had maintained the practice. It was a powerful example of the fourth and final law of behavior change: make it satisfying. We are more likely to repeat a behavior when the experience is satisfying. This is entirely logical. Feelings of pleasure, even minor ones like washing your hands with soap that smells nice and lathers well, are signals that tell the brain this feels good. Do this again next time. Pleasure teaches your brain that a behavior is worth remembering and repeating. Make it satisfying. Take the story of chewing gum. Chewing gum had been sold commercially throughout the 1800s, but it wasn't until Wrigley launched in 1891 that it became a worldwide habit. Early versions were made from the relatively bland resins, chewy but not tasty. Wrigley revolutionized the industry by adding flavors like spearmint and juicy fruit, which made the product flavorful and fun to use. Then they went a step further and began pushing chewing gum as a pathway to a clean mouth. Advertisers told the readers to refresh your taste. Tasty flavors and the feeling of a fresh mouth provided little bits of immediate reinforcement and made the product satisfying to use. Consumption skyrocketed, and Wrigley became the largest chewing gum company in the world. Toothpaste had a similar trajectory. Manufacturers enjoyed great success when they added flavors like spearmint and peppermint and cinnamon to their products. These flavors don't improve the effectiveness of toothpaste. They simply create a clean mouth, feel, and make the experience of brushing your teeth more pleasurable. My wife actually stopped using Sensodyne because she didn't like the aftertaste. She switched to a brand with a stronger mint flavor, which proved to be more satisfying. Conversely, if an experience is not satisfying, we have little reason to repeat it. In my research, I came across the story of a woman who had a narcissistic relative who drove her nuts. In an attempt to spend less time with his egomaniac, she acted as dull and as boring as possible whenever he was around. Within a few encounters, he started avoiding her because he found her so uninteresting. Stories like these are evidence of the cardinal rule of behavior change. What is rewarded is repeated. What is rewarded is repeated. What is punished is avoided. What is punished is avoided. What is rewarded is repeated. What is punished is avoided. You learn what to do in the future based on what you were rewarded for doing or punished for doing in the past. Positive emotions cultivate habits. Negative emotions destroy them. Positive emotions cultivate habits. Negative emotions destroy them, right? So what is rewarded is repeated. What is punished is avoided. We're talking about behavior change. The first three laws of behavior change: make it obvious, number one; make it attractive, number two; and make it easy, number three. Increase the odds that a behavior will perform this time. The fourth law of behavior change: make it satisfying, increases the odds that a behavior will be repeated next time. It completes the habit loop. But there's a trick. We're not looking for just any type of satisfaction. We're looking for immediate satisfaction. Immediate satisfaction. The mismatch between immediate and delayed rewards. Imagine you're an animal roaming the plains of Africa, a giraffe or an elephant or a lion. On any given day, most of your decisions have an immediate impact. You're always thinking about what to eat or where to sleep or how to avoid a predator. You're constantly focused on the present or the very near future. You live in what scientists call an immediate return environment because your actions instantly deliver clear and immediate outcomes. Now switch back to your human self. In modern society, many of the choices you make today will not benefit you immediately. If you do a good job at work, you get a paycheck in a few weeks. If you exercise today, perhaps you won't be overweight next year. If you save money now, maybe you'll have enough for retirement decades from now. You live in what scientists call a delayed return environment because you can work for years before your actions deliver the intended payoff. The human brain did not evolve for life in a delayed return environment. The earliest remains of modern humans, known as Homo sapiens, are approximately 2,000 years old. These were the first humans to have a brain relatively similar to ours. In particular, the neocortex, the newest part of the brain and the region responsible for higher functions like language, was roughly the same size 2,000 years ago as it is today. You're walking around with the same hardware as your Paleolithic ancestors. It is only recently, during the last 500 years or so, that society has shifted to a predominantly delayed return environment. Compared to the age of the brain, modern society is brand new. In the last 100 years, we've seen the rise of the car, the airplane, the television, the personal computer, the internet, the smartphone, and Beyonce. The world has changed much in recent years, but human nature has changed little. Human nature has changed little. Similar to other animals of the African savanna, our ancestors spent their days responding to grave threats, securing the next meal, and taking shelter from a storm. It made sense to place a high value on instant gratification. The distant future was less of a concern, and after thousands of generations in an immediate return environment, our brains evolved to prefer quick payoffs to long-term ones. Behavioral economists refer to this tendency as time inconsistency. That is, the way your brain evaluates rewards is consistent across time. You value the present more than the future. Usually, this tendency serves us well. A reward that is certain right now is typically worth more than one that is merely possible in the future. But occasionally, our bias toward instant gratification causes problems. Why would someone smoke if they know it increases the risk of lung cancer? Why would someone overeat when they know it increases their risk of obesity? Why would someone have unsafe sex if they know it can result in sexually transmitted disease? Once you understand how the brain prioritizes rewards, the answers become clear. The consequences of bad habits are delayed while the rewards are immediate. Smoking might kill you in 10 years, but it reduces stress and eases your nicotine cravings now. Everybody put in the comments on now, N-O-W. Overeating is harmful in the long run, but appetizing in the moment. Safe sex or not provides pleasure right away. Disease and infection won't show up for days or weeks, even years. Every habit produces multiple outcomes across time. Unfortunately, these outcomes are often misaligned. With our bad habits, the immediate outcome usually feels good, but the ultimate outcome feels bad. With good habits, it is the reverse. The immediate outcome is unenjoyable, but the ultimate outcome feels good. The French economist Frédéric Bastiat explained the problem clearly when he wrote, it almost always happens that when the immediate consequence is favorable, the later consequences are disastrous and vice versa. Often the sweeter the first fruit of a habit, the more bitter are its later fruits. Put another way, the cost of your good habits are in the present. The cost of your bad habits are in the future. The cost of your good habits are in the present. The cost of your bad habits are in the future. Count the cost. The brain's tendency to prioritize the present moment means you can't rely on good intentions. When you make a plan to lose weight or write a book or learn a language, you're actually making plans for your future self. And when you envision what you want your life to be like, it is easy to see the value in taking actions with long-term benefits. We all want better lives for our future selves. However, when the moment of decision arrives, everybody put in console decision. We were talking about that this morning, deciding. When the moment of decision arrives, instant gratification usually wins. You're no longer making a choice for future you, who dreams of being fitter or wealthier or happier. You're choosing for present you, who wants to be full or pampered and entertained. As a general rule, the more immediate pleasure you get from an action, the more strongly you should question whether it aligns with your long-term goals. With a fuller understanding of what causes our brain to repeat some behaviors and avoid others, let's update the cardinal rule of behavior change. What is immediately rewarded is repeated. What is immediately punished is avoided. Our preference for instant gratification reveals an important truth about success. Because of how we are wired, most people will spend all day chasing quick hits of satisfaction. The road less traveled is the road of delayed gratification. If you're willing to wait for the rewards, you'll face less competition and often a bigger payoff. As the saying goes, the last mile is always the least crowded. This is precisely what research has shown. People who are better at delaying gratification have higher SAT scores, lower levels of substance abuse, lower likelihood of obesity, better responses to stress, and superior social skills. We've all seen this play out in our own lives. If you delay watching television and get your homework done, you'll generally learn more and get better grades. If you don't buy desserts and chips at the store, you'll often eat healthier food when you get home. At some point, success is in nearly every field requires you to ignore an immediate reward in favor of a delayed reward. In the comments below, I'd love for you to share, for those that's watching us here, catching us here live for this episode, what's something that you now recognize that you must ignore? It's something immediate. It's an immediate reward you might be used to getting, you might like to get. It's something that you now realize for yourself that you must ignore in favor of some delayed reward. Here's the problem. Most people know that delayed gratification is the wise approach. They want the benefits of good habits to be healthy, productive, at peace, but these outcomes are seldom top of mind at the decisive moment. Thankfully, it's possible to train yourself to delay gratification, but you need to work with the grain of human nature, not against it. The best way to do this is to add a little bit of immediate pleasure to the habits that pay off in the long run and a little bit of immediate pain to the ones that don't. Okay, we can train ourselves the same way. This is program. We just reprogramming ourselves, beautiful people, reprogramming ourselves. So how do we do this? How to turn instant gratification to your advantage. How to turn instant gratification to your advantage. The vital thing is getting a habit to stick is to feel successful, even if it's in a small way. The feeling of success is a signal that your habit paid off and that the work was worth the effort. In a perfect world, the reward for a good habit is the habit itself. In the real world, good habits tend to feel worthwhile only after they have provided you with something. Early on, it's all sacrifice. You go into the gym a few times, but you're not stronger or fitter or faster, at least not in any noticeable sense. It's only months later, once you shed a few pounds and your arms gain some definition, that it becomes easier to exercise for its own sake. In the beginning, you need a reason to stay on track. This is why immediate rewards are essential. They keep you excited while the delayed rewards accumulate in the background. What we're really talking about here when we're discussing immediate rewards is the ending of a behavior. The ending of any experience is vital because we tend to remember it more than other phases. You want the ending of your habit to be satisfying. The best approach is to use what we call reinforcement, which refers to the process of using an immediate reward to increase the rate of behavior. Habit stacking, which we covered in chapter 5, ties your habit to an immediate cue, which makes it obvious when to start. Reinforcement ties your habit to an immediate reward, which makes it satisfying when you finish, Immediate reinforcement can be especially helpful when dealing with habits of avoidance, which are behaviors you want to stop doing. It can be challenging to stick with habits like no frivolous purchases or no alcohol this month because nothing happens when you skip happy hour drinks or don't buy that pair of shoes. It can be hard to feel satisfied when there is no action in the first place. All you're doing is resisting temptation, and there isn't much satisfying about that. One solution is to turn the situation on its head. You want to make avoidance visible. Open a savings account, label it for something you want, maybe a leather jacket. Whenever you pass on a purchase, put the same amount of money in the account. Skip your morning latte, transfer $5. Pass on another month of Netflix, move $10 over. It's like creating a loyalty program for yourself. How many guys can get with that, creating a loyalty program for yourself, right? To reward yourself. Everybody put in comments to reward myself. The immediate reward of seeing yourself save money towards the leather jacket feels a lot better than being deprived. You're making it satisfying to do nothing. One of my readers and his wife used a similar setup. They wanted to stop eating out so much and start cooking together more. They labeled their savings account trip to Europe. Whenever they skipped going out to eat, they transferred $50 into the account. At the end of the year, they put the money toward the vacation. It is worth noting that it is important to select short-term rewards that reinforce your identity rather than ones that conflict with it. Buying a new jacket is fine if you're trying to lose weight and read more books, but it doesn't work if you're trying to budget and save money. Instead, taking a bubble bath or going on a leisurely walk are good examples of rewarding yourself with free time, which aligns with your ultimate goal of more freedom and financial independence. Similarly, if your reward for exercising is eating a bowl of ice cream, then you're casting votes for conflicting identities, and it ends up being a wash. Instead, maybe your reward is a massage, which is both luxury and a vote towards taking care of your body. Now the short-term reward is aligned with your long-term vision of being a healthy person. Eventually, as intrinsic rewards like a better mood or more energy or reduced stress kick in, you'll become less concerned with chasing the secondary reward. The identity itself becomes the reinforcer. You do it because it's who you are, and it feels good to be you. The more a habit becomes a part of your life, the less you need outside encouragement to follow through. Incentives can start a habit. Identity sustains a habit. Incentives can start a habit. Identity sustains a habit. That said, it takes time for the evidence to accumulate and a new identity to emerge. Immediate reinforcement helps maintain motivation in the short term while you're waiting for the long-term rewards to arrive. In summary, a habit needs to be enjoyable for it to last. Simple bits of reinforcement like soap that smells great or toothpaste that has a refreshing mint flavor or seeing $50 hit your savings account can offer the immediate pleasure you need to enjoy a habit. And change is easy when it's enjoyable. Change is easy when it's enjoyable. Well, here's our chapter summary, guys. Here's some points that the author wants us to take away from what we have read today about making it satisfying, the cardinal rule of behavior change, that change is easy when it's enjoyable. Point number one, the fourth law of behavior change is to make it satisfying. Make it satisfying. Point number two, we're more likely to repeat a behavior when the experience is satisfying. Point number three, the human brain evolved to prioritize immediate rewards over delayed rewards. Point number four, the cardinal rule of behavior change, what is immediately rewarded is repeated. What is immediately punished is avoided. This is the way we raise our kids, isn't it? Point number five, to get a habit to stick, you need to feel immediately successful, even if it's in a small way. And point number 6, the first 3 laws of behavior change: make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy. Increase the odds that the behavior will be performed this time. The 4th law, make it satisfying, increases the odds that the behavior will be repeated next time. Well, beautiful people, as you guys are joining, I'm pretty sure you're joining because you're looking to build your good habits and eliminate your bad habits or break the bad ones. What's something that you are looking to change for yourself so you can live your best and your blessed life? I want to say thanks so much for tuning in here today with us live, or whoever catches this on the replay. This is 30 minutes a day, right? 30 minutes a day of reading to keep broke and stupid away. And they tell us that we've learned all our life that readers are leaders. And I want to shout out to you as a leader of our community. I'm ERGJ, your certified global financial educator, a CEO of ERGJ Enterprises. I want to shout out our sponsor here today, which is the Black Bazaar, the Afrocentric marketplace, which specializes in Afrocentric home decor, personal care products, and also Black art inspired gifts. Shop Black with us by simply going to the website, theblackbazaar.com. That's right, at theblackbazaar.com. I want you guys to remember this, that it takes a village. It starts with us. Let's build as we climb together. We all we got, beautiful people. Matter of fact, we all we really need. And thank God that's more than enough. Until next episode, you know what time it is. Mr. DJ, hit the music.
New black. It's the New Black Wall Street Book Club. With your host, Evan Jefferson. It's time for us to go. Yeah. Now, you ain't got to leave the computer, but we encourage you to get out there and learn and apply all the things you learn at the New Black Wall Street Book Club. Yeah. The New Black Wall Street.